So, Eyes of Wakanda is now on Disney+.
Since when?
Apparently 3 weeks ago, Marvel decided to give us a series of 4 episodes to tell the story of 4 Wakandan war dogs, going through key moments in time, while also hinting at a not-so-distant future that proves how Killmonger is actually the key behind Earth's salvation. So although I'm no historian, I'm gonna do my best to tell you the story about the Marvel show that deserves another chance.
Baba,
Yes, my son.
tell me a story.
Which one?
The story of home.
Wait a minute, you already know the story, don't you? Vibranium meteorite lands on Wakanda is born, and so is the Black Panther. So then instead, let's talk about war dogs. As surprising as it sounds, war dogs have nothing to do with either dogs or war. It's quite the opposite actually. They are spies, sent across all over the world by Wakanda, whose missions range from recovering vibranium artifacts to banging with the Iron Fist. I'll explain later. Remember Nakia? I didn't, but this was T'Challa's girl in the MCU. She used to be a war dog, and just like some of the characters we'll see throughout the series, she realizes a devastating truth about the world that transcends the boundaries of fiction and is true even for the real world we know today.
No one is my master. And I already have a home.
This is Nani, former Dora Milaje. She was sent on a mission to retrieve Wakandan weaponry from a captain who, allegedly, fled the country, known not as a panther or a white wolf.
Stealthy. Little time in Wakanda and you come out White Panther. It's actually White Wolf. Huh?
But as the lion. The plan was to be sneaky, but since that obviously went sideways, Nani first encounters this Assassin's Creed Valhalla looking chick, the ghost of Tsushima, Maui from Moana, and another Assassin's Creed looking dude, but from later in the saga, which is an important detail that indicates a link between cultures, something Wakanda isn't known for doing. After a surprising amount of on-screen deaths for an animated Disney show, Nani finally reaches Mufasa and finds out the truth about her mission. So, turns out Wakanda lied to Nani worse than my ex did when she told me she was 18. Cause Nkati, hope I said that right, didn't flee his nation. He was sent there as a war dog, and unlike a full-time Discord mod touching grass, he grew fond of the outside world. And with weapons and power that greatly outmatched the swords and bows of the time, no offense Clint.
Right? Yeah. Okay, do my best.
He had the great idea to become king. The Lion King. And after stopping by to get the Nick Fury, Nani was able to stop him, so she returned to Wakanda having retrieved one of the items, since the rest got lost
Under the sea.
But fret not, since a few thousand years later, we would see them in Wakandan hands again. However, before we get there, we first have to make a quick stop in the Trojan War. Remember that movie about Troy called Troy featuring Brad Pitt? Or for the younger ones, that scene from Peabody and Sherman?
He's my dad.
Good. Well, that's the famous Trojan War. And the show presents an interesting twist as the Greek hero Achilles befriends Memnon, the king of Ethiopia, Wakanda, who in this timeline is a war dog. Although I'm no Stephen Grant to be naming pharaohs and gods as if they were my relatives,
Yeah, maybe not.
I'm gonna do my best to summarize this episode.
There's been a major blunder because they've got 7 gods here and the Iliad hasn't.
Shut the fuck up.
This is Odysseus, war general of the Greeks, including Achilles and Memnon, and they're raiding Troy because of this chick. Why? Well, cause she's hot as fuck. Okay, it's more complicated than that, at least for the Greeks it is. But for Memnon, not so much. His mission consists on retrieving Helen's necklace, that wouldn't you know it, is made out of Wakandan vibranium. Odysseus would then come up with the famous plan of the horse. Stupid? Yeah. But when have you seen it fail, huh? So, they deliver the horse, they bust in, and both the Greeks and Memnon carry on their missions. Achilles' plan is to become a Greek hero and join the Avengers, but since he's a couple thousand years too early, that's not happening. On the other hand, Memnon has other plans, so he sneaks out to find Paris and Helen. And the Wakandan asks for the pendant in exchange for their freedom. By the way, remember how this whole war was because of Helen? Well, Achilles caught Memnon letting them escape, so he gets mad and decides to fight his best friend. Achilles' fight ends on a loss by a cut in the heel. Memnon puts coins in the eyes of his friend so he can pay his way into the afterlife, and then returns to Wakanda with the necklace to realize, as he's talking with the now old and wise Nani, that going out into the field for 9 years has forever changed his life. Just how Basha changed his life when he banged the Iron Fist. Meet Basha, the war dog whose mission was to get the tongue, but got in trouble for getting the head instead. Let me explain. After getting caught in a blizzard upon arriving in China, this sweet woman decides to take care of him, and just when he got her trust, he left her for her head. This thing. So he takes the artifact and returns home, not before taking with him a little surprise. There's really not much more in this episode apart from cool fight scenes, references to a bunch of artifacts retrieved from across time, and arguments that resemble those of a divorced couple. So after the Iron Fist infiltrates the Wakandan headquarters in search for the stolen statue, she finds Basha, makes the kind of mess a happy couple tends to make, to then realize it was totally unnecessary since she could just take the tongue out of the statue, leaving only the vibranium to the Wakandans. Then everyone kisses and makes up, Basha says sorry for being a prick, and everyone is left happy. This is exactly how you should be hitting the sub button right now. Just saying. Moving on. Here, we follow both Prince Tafari, a wannabe war dog, and Kuda, his master Jedi. Their mission consists on retrieving an artifact that you and I are more than familiar with. Remember this? Yep, it's the same vibranium axe that Killmonger stole from that museum, because they had their historical facts wrong.
Tell me about this one.
Also from Benin, 7th century. Fula tribe, I believe.
Nah.
Given that the battlefield was more intense than a Black Ops 2 lobby in 2012, Kuda advises to return home empty-handed. However, since Prince Tefari has the same main character delusions as Achilles, he gets into the building where the axe is stored in and retrieves it. And we have a problem now, but they don't know it yet. Upon returning to Wakanda, they face the last Black Panther, who funnily enough, it's the first and only Black Panther we get to see in the whole series. She comes from 500 years in the future, when the Horde, a horde of alien creatures from Australia, attacks Earth, and the only nation who doesn't unite to fight against it is Wakanda. And since there's no Tony Stark to tell them,
I'm sorry, Earth is closed today.
Wakanda remains the only nation standing after everything else has been destroyed. The solution?
Time travel!
The Black Panther then goes back in time to tell Yoda and his Padawan to return the axe back to its place, for Killmonger to steal it years in the future, setting off a chain of events that leads to T'Challa opening the doors of Wakanda to the world, offering aid and eventually stopping the alien invasion. Cool, right? So the heroes go back to Ethiopia to return the axe, therefore changing the future and saving the world. But although their world is saved, there still remains a world that deserves to be in peace. Remember when I told you that Nakia had found something devastating when she became a war dog and left Wakanda? No, it wasn't the existence of labubus or job applications.
Boo! It's a job application.
But the fact that outside of the paradise she's lived in for years, there is a world not far from the real one that solves world problems with war and slavery, resulting on hunger, suffering, and death to children and adults alike. So next time you think you're having a bad day because your Subway footlong wasn't actually a footlong, well, think again. Because although Wakanda isn't real, our world and the problems within it definitely are. Ever wonder why MCU Spider-Man doesn't have an origin story? Check out this video and find out all about it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.